Hey guys, it's Anthony Bandiero here, attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue to Gold, bringing you the Roadside Chat. Now, this question comes from an officer in Idaho, and this officer is reading my book, the Search and Seizure Survival Guide. Thank you very much, right? And he's like talking, he was reading about my chapter on contempt of cop arrests. He's saying, hey, look, that is such an important issue that cops are running into, and we have a lot of new officers, right? I mean, God, when I go around the country and teach, I talk to these departments and it looks like the vast majority of their officers are 2 to 3 year officers because of the massive turnover. And that's going to continue, I believe, early retirements and so forth. But he's like, look, contempt of cop is an issue that law enforcement still suffers from. Can you make a video on this and basically explain what is a contempt of cop arrest and why is it problematic? All right. So as I say in the book, when contempt of cop arrest is basically occurs when an officer would not have engaged in enforcement action, would not have written a ticket, would not have made a custodial arrest, but does so because the person is contemptuous, right? Is criticizing him or her, is talking back, is giving attitude. And the cop, in order to show his or her authority, says, you know what? You can play that game, but I have a game I can play too. It's called an arrest, right? So I'm taking your ass down to jail to prove to you, or to at least, teach you a lesson. Don't disrespect me or law enforcement in general. And that's kind of what's going on here. Now, this is not good, right? If an officer is primarily motivated, okay, listen to my words though, right? It's very specific. Primarily motivated to take enforcement action because of a person's speech, that may be held unlawful, right? You may be violating that person's First Amendment rights to challenge, criticize, protest their government, which is part of the First Amendment. As the U.S. Supreme Court said in a case called Houston versus Hill, which is a very important case on this issue, the freedom of individuals, right, to verbally oppose or challenge police action without risking arrest is one of the principal characteristics by which we distinguish a free nation from a police state. But listen to what the Supreme Court is saying. The freedom of individuals to verbally oppose or challenge law enforcement. In Houston versus Hill, what happened there is a guy's friend was getting arrested. And he says, why don't you pick on someone your own size, right? He's yelling to the cops as they're trying to get this guy into custody. I'm imagining that the friend that's getting arrested is being, active resistant and so forth. And you got the buddy on the sidelines yelling at the cops, saying all this stuff. And the cop looks at him and says, are you obstructing my duties? He says, why don't you pick on somebody my size? And he gets arrested. The U.S. Supreme Court held that was an unlawful arrest because all that guy was doing was basically showing he was protesting the arrest. I mean, in his own way. I mean, it sounds like maybe like fighting words, but it wasn't fighting words. Fighting words is a whole different doctrine. If you want me to do a video on that, I will. But this was not fighting words. It would not cause an imminent breach of the peace. And plus, it's hard to breach a police officer's peace anyway. So a person should not be arrested, right? According to the book, right? That when a person has criticized, insulted, or challenged you, and your primary motive to take enforcement action is to teach that person a lesson, right? Because of what they said to you. Now, there's been a few Supreme Court cases after Houston versus Hill that kind of clarifies this. Generally speaking, one thing I want you to remember is that if you have an arrest that is commingled with the person challenging you plus enforcement action, generally the rule is that they cannot sue. Well, they cannot successfully sue you unless they have objective evidence that you would not have made that arrest but for their speech, right? So they can't just throw it out there and just accuse you of you arrested me because of my speech without anything else. I mean, that is not going to be an effective argument in court. So they need things like text messages, right? Maybe they get a hold of your text messages, maybe your MDT text. Maybe they get hold of your prior arrest history and you have never arrested anybody for this crime, but yet you arrested him. And, the courts believe it's a little suspicious. It's something objective, not just an accusation. Anybody can make an accusation that you arrested me simply because of my disrespect for law enforcement. But you're gonna need something more to get past the gatekeepers at the courthouse. All right, there's contempt of a cop. We have a lot of new officers. They need to know that. Don't get roped in. It's a contempt of cop. This is people have the right to verbally challenge you or verbally to disrespect you. I wish they wouldn't do it. I know the way I raise my kids is to respect law enforcement and thank you every day for the service that you've done. But not everybody raises their kids like that anymore. So it is what it is. All right, guys. Do me a favor. If you like what I'm doing here, send YouTube a message to help spread this word. Hit like, comment. Any comments will help. Thanks, Anthony, or whatever. Or, ask me some questions. And then finally, share with your friends. All right. Until next time, my friends, stay safe and do that. Keep up that great job you're doing.
When it comes to law enforcement training, we are the gold standard. Visit bluetogold.com or call 888-579-7796 to learn more about our training, books, and free webinars. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel.